We good?
Like you slept on a cloud. Get yourself the very best
Yep.
in bedding
Yep,
supply
we're good.
today. You deserve
right.
it. Go to
All right.
Getting there.
Here we
I'm
go.
getting there. Brother Filipio right
Oh.
here at Filipio Studios.
Welcome, everybody. It's Thursday night. It's our Friday night.
That's right. L.A. Marzulli.
This will be a great show. I'm going to learn a lot during this one, I think.
Yep. So, because of the array
Yeah.
of different types of research and work he's done, dude, this would have to be like a 30-part show.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
And that's for one
And
subject.
we never have enough time. You know that.
No.
Not in 52 minutes.
Well, if my questions weren't 5 minutes, sometimes
That's not.
I got
true.
mad at myself
You're
last
not,
night.
You're not that bad at it, though. As far
I
as that.
listened last night. I got a little mad at myself because my questions were too long. I could have been way
Verbose.
quicker.
Your questions were verbose.
Whatever.
Rocky's like, whatever that word means.
I don't even care. I just knew they were long. But I felt the verbose.
You okay?
Don't even know what it means. You get a haircut?
No, I mean I did about a week ago.
It looks good.
Yeah, thanks.
Don't worry about it.
Of course you do. Get your own.
All right, Teresa, hello. Jamie, hello. Mary, hello.
Grumpy stack.
Grumpy Stack, yo.
Supply chain.
All right, 60 seconds to showtime, folks.
Panic buying. Unfortunately, they've all become
L.A. Marzulli on the program tonight, so get comfortable. Your legs are probably going to go numb from sitting for an hour straight. So, Leprechaun. I finally remembered Leprechaun, not Laird, but I like Laird better because
Yeah. Well, he goes by Laird Stephen Payne. Yeah.
Conspiracy theory thing to do.
not so much anymore, right? Not only provide emergency food supply, but also
All right, 30 seconds, folks. We'll see you in a bit.
all sorts of other tools that you can use in the event of an unforeseen situation or emergency, which, with every day that goes by, seems more and more likely. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Preparewithmojo50.com. If you want to keep food on the table, if you just want to maintain some sense of normalcy, preparewithmojo50.com is the answer. Preparewithmojo50.com.
Journey into the matrix of the mind. Stretch your imagination and challenge reality. Abnormal realities are beacons for the imagination. What society deems abnormal may be more real than we think. This is Abnormal Realities with your hosts, Ron Phillips and Rocky Stucci.
you know, Brother Filipio, I think we need to have like an intro video where we're walking towards the camera
Slow
in
motion.
this old grungy hallway, haunted hallway somewhere with
Slow motion.
Yep, smoke in the background, slow motion, and then it goes really fast motion, and then we come up to the camera, super close.
Should we
in,
be wearing
and
our
then we
priest,
stop and we do
our
this.
priest outfits?
We still got to do that.
No, we'd be wearing our priest outfits walking down the. Okay, we'll get in trouble for that, I'm sure.
That is brilliant. Folks, welcome.
With a
Thursday
big old
night.
cross hanging on.
L.A. Marzulli, man, is here. He's going to be coming on the program tonight. But thank you all so much for being here. Welcome. Abnormalrealities.com is the website. I'm going to say it again so it kind of registers. Abnormalrealities.com. There you can find Romika designs, custom tumblers, links to iHeartRadio, links to other information that's part of the family. You know what I mean? So get on over there, check it out, and make sure you download and like and follow the podcast.
That's right. And share tonight's show, folks. You're going to want everybody watching tonight.
Dude.
We've got L.A. Marzulli
Hold
with us.
on.
L.A., he's going to share his research that has taken him around the globe, and what he has found will tear the cloak of darkness off a hidden history. I love
Ooh.
that phrase, dude. And reveal a past that is almost beyond belief. I put that on the promo page.
Yeah, you did.
I love that.
Yes, you did.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, L.A. Marzulli. How are you, sir? Welcome to the show.
I am great, and thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Man, that was a fantastic intro there, Mr. Phillips.
Thank you. It's what I do.
Yeah.
It's what I do, he says. It's what I do. Brother, thank you so much. I was telling LA on the way to the studio here that there's certain people that you follow in industries and their work and the things that they do. And so, man, we are honored and humbled and grateful for you taking your time out to sit with us so our listeners and our viewers can enjoy this conversation, because I'll tell you something, we got some people like going down some rabbit holes. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Hell, I like going down a rabbit hole.
Well, the honor is all mine. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you, brother. Now,
You're up.
well, yeah, before the show, we were talking about, you got a lot going on, and we're looking at what, 21 books? Did you say 22 books, part of a series?
Yeah, it's 21 DVDs and 13 books.
That is a lot. And so that's like where you got to take a week off of work. You know, you got to take a week off of work and just jump right in. And then we were talking about some current projects that you have in the works, and there are some things that you can talk about. So kind of tell us where you're at right now, and then we'll just go whatever direction this goes.
Yeah, this is a free film on YouTube, UFO Disclosure. If you go to my YouTube channel, L.A. Marzulli, and you just type that in, and any video, if you go down to the text box and you open it below, scroll down a little bit, there's a link, free UFO video. Part 2 is coming up soon. I'm almost done with it, and that, of course, will be free. 3, 4, and 5 will not be free. But, you know, watch the first 2, because this information is so important in my opinion, that in some ways I've got to release some of it for free. So the first show is for free. The second show will be free.
Yeah.
But, you know, 3, 4, 5, I mean, it's a lot of work, as you guys know.
Yep.
Put out a film. It's hundreds of hours, not to mention, you know, a lot of money. Yep. But I just felt, because of where we are in the disclosure ladder, as we're going up the rungs of the disclosure ladder, I just felt sort of obligated to at least lay the groundwork. And that's what, number 1, lays the groundwork. Number 2, it sort of piggybacks on that and makes it even more in your face, something's going on. But it also talks about disclosure. And then number 3, there's more UFO witnesses, but then we get into we got people like Nick Pope, Nick Redford, George Norrie, George Norrie's producer, Tom Danheiser,
right,
a host of others. Number 4, and again, this is all in post. Number 4, we, in our Watchers series, there were 11 films in our Watchers series. So we've been covering this for, you know, over a decade. And cattle mutilations, we had Prophet Yahweh on, talking about calling down UFOs. We've had Robert Salas on, the commander of that intercontinental ballistic missile group, that 50-foot UFO hovers over the gate. We were the first production team that ever interviewed him, because we allowed him to come into post and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Nice.
Nobody else would do that. We did. So we broke the story. We broke the story. Now, since then, other people have, you know, Ancient Aliens and the whole crew.
Right.
We broke the story. Dr. Roger Lear with the implants. Now, other people have talked about it. There's a guy, and I won't mention his name. He basically took the last implant removal that Roger Lear did and created a film around that, using some of our material that my ex-business partner and the director of all the Watchers series, the late Richard Shaw, allowed him to use the footage. Had nothing in writing. It was a handshake type of deal, and he never gave us credit for it, which is just, you know, welcome to how the game is played.
Ain't that a fact?
You know, we show number 4 will be all the stuff that we've already done. There's no point in inventing the wheel. No point in getting Chuck Zukowski on again and showing pictures of cattle mutilations.
Right.
We've already covered that in our series. No point in doing another implant removal. We've covered it in our series. So what this will be is to bring it, because some of these things were in different episodes, bring it all under one roof, and then I'll do intros right here in my studio, do intros and outros for every segment, and that's how we'll bring it up to speed. Number 5 is when a bunch of researchers come on the record, and all that's in the can already. There's a series of questions. So we're not showing any UFO stuff or anything like that.
Right.
In number 4, skipping back a beat, there's a woman that we interviewed about a month ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And she's was a lifelong abductee, taken at a very early age. She was impregnated 3 times by them, and they came and took the baby. Classic. And then she married and that ended in a divorce, and she finally found the right guy and got saved, healed, and delivered. The abduction stopped, but when she talks about it, we did a shoot with her. Great lighting, great camera work, and it's visceral.
Mm.
And it's probably about a 40-minute interview.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out how I ping pong where that fits, but it's visceral.
So really quick. So you said that she found her way. She found a relationship with God. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, she became a born again spirit-filled Christian, and that stopped the abductions. And we've had numerous people in our wheelhouse, in my wheelhouse, that we've led to the Lord, and the abduction stopped.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Right when the abductions stop, when people find their way spiritually and reborn again. That's weird because I'm in this mix right now in my brain in regards to like the paranormal. So it's almost like that energy or what they were dealing with was more of like a demonic nature, and I don't even know if that's the right phrase or the right way to put it.
Well, because I would have thought they were mutually exclusive. The abductions versus being a Christian kind of thing.
Yeah, Jacques Vallée says it in a quote. I mean, I'll butcher the quote, but basically he says that human beings are part of some sort of a bizarre deception and experimentation. And he started off believing that these were extraterrestrials from other planets.
Right.
And as he got further down the rabbit hole, he realized that there was definitely a demonological influence to the entire phenomenon. And that's what makes his work so fascinating. His book, Messengers of Deception, the title says it all. That's exactly what they are. They lie. They do so habitually. Just talk to any experiencer. They lie all the time. And who is the father of lies? So, in my opinion, this is the coming great deception in the Luciferian Endgame. This is the title of the first film. And we've had a couple 100,000 views of that. I haven't checked it in a while, but it's probably our most viewed video.
You'll have a couple 100,000 in 2 before long. So,
but it's weird though when we think historically UFOs, all these intelligent cultures being able to do things we can't explain, and then you still see the correlation. Ellen, what has changed from a level of terrestrial beings, or that realm of existence in modern times compared to ancient times? Was there a different motive? Do you think there was something different going on back then, or is all this always been happening?
It's been always happening. The Native Americans call them the sky gods. Mm-hmm. There's a film by Robert Mirabal called Stiltwalker, who talks about the Nephilim, again, my wheelhouse.
Right.
And, from coast to coast, First Nation people, Native Americans knew about the red-haired, six-fingered cannibalistic giants. These are the remnants of a Nephilim. I believe Bigfoot is also a Nephilim. I've got a woman that yeah, I know. Everything goes like this, guys. It all goes like that. It all dovetails.
That's weird, because when you said that, I looked at, because we talk about Bigfoot all the time.
We do.
But I've always talked about Bigfoot in the sense of what we see on Discovery, where they're hitting a tree in the woods. And give me a call, Ron.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, he's not going to do it. But when you said it like that, it was like,
it just kind of clicked.
It kind of clicked.
Because quite honestly, we've talked about Bigfoot being an interdimensional species, if you will.
Exactly what it is.
And all of what you're talking about now just kind of makes that click. But I don't think I've ever thought that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of upset.
Kind of upset that we hadn't thought that way yet. So earlier, LA, you talked about the rungs of the ladder, and before the show, I mentioned that I would want to know what the rungs of the disclosure ladder are. Can we go into that real quick? I know our talking points have to do with the mound builders and stuff like that.
You can go anywhere you want. I mean,
fantastic.
Look, we only have an hour, and again, there's 21 films and 13 books. Right.
That's a whole year you would have with us. I'm just saying, and I'm willing to do it. I'm saying I'm willing to do it.
So let's talk about disclosure. I'm intrigued by that.
Before I get there to the disclosure, and I'll get there in about a minute and a half.
Okay.
There's an ancient prophetic text. It's found in the Book of Revelation, and it talks about one of the seals that are open in the Book of Revelation.
Right.
And the beasts of the earth go and come up against mankind, the beasts of the earth. My good friend and battle buddy Russ Isdar used to make the audience laugh by saying, and we're not talking hamsters and giraffes, so what are they? I have since come to, because of my studies with Bigfoot, Sasquatch, believing, first of all, that it's Nephilim. Second of all, that the numbers, and you guys know this, the numbers are sighting up through the roof.
Correct.
And they're everywhere. It's global. I now believe that these are the beasts of the earth. And when they get set loose, you're talking wanton destruction in ways that people won't even believe. A friend of mine, I know this guy very well. His uncle was out hunting with his 2 dogs. They were way ahead of him. So he comes up on a hill and he hears the dogs yelping, screaming in agony. He looks down at the valley, 100 yards away. There's 2 Bigfoot there, 2 Sasquatch there. They've taken the dogs and just ripped them in half.
Oh.
And they look at him and basically say, get out of here. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, we've heard stories of Bigfoot and stuff like that, and heard stories, but I don't think I've heard a story where they're
I'm thinking of my little
vicious
chihuahuas
like
right
that.
now. I'm thinking of my chihuahuas right now. I'm like, I don't want to see that,
No, I'm not. But if it's, I'm not saying it is. There's a Bigfoot conference in Ohio in August, and I'm one of the speakers there. I will be there speaking, which is a great honor. I've got a digital copy of the Gimli Patterson Bigfoot film. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Oh, we had fun with that one.
Yeah. Oh, we had fun with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable because you can really see all the muscles move and the whole deal. It's amazing. So I'll be speaking on that, but of course I'll be coming from the paradigm that what we are looking at, these are Nephilim. These aren't some lost race of ape or some, deviant evolutionary sapien or something. These are the Nephilim. They are interdimensional. They can pop in and out. How do I know that? Because I've had witnesses come and tell me that they watch them materialize and then dematerialize. I mean, how many times do you have to hear that before it's like, okay, I get it. That's real. And, moving on. So, I'll be there at the Bigfoot conference, more about that in the coming weeks. But the first rung of the disclosure ladder was Tucker Carlson 2017. I did this film. This is one of the reasons why I released it. I released that film in early 2017. That's when it was released. The UFOs are real burgeoning and not going away. That's the free film. In that, there's a guy by the name of Paul McGuire, researcher, author, lecturer. And Paul says, I asked him point blank, when do you think disclosure will happen? So Paul has no way of knowing, but based on what he's seen, he's going late 2016, definitely by the close of 2017, we're going to see something. And on the basis of that, that's why I released the film for free. And then there's another thing, we can get into that in a little bit. There's a woman who comes on the film and talks about the pandemic in 2016.
Oh, really?
Since I'm here, before we get even to the rungs, she comes on the record. She's a psychic. She was abducted, taken. And in the morning, she had voice-to-skull communication, a cosmic download. Ooh. And she comes on the record in 2016. I thought she was nuts, so it never made the first cut. When I went back in 2021, last year, and re-edited the film, I was up in my browser window looking at clips, and there she was, and I wonder what this one is, because 2016.
Yeah. Sure.
So I start running it. Oh, that will work over here with Billy Crone. Perfect. I'll just put it there. And I go, well, what's the next clip? No idea. Click. About fell out of my chair.
Oh.
This is 2021. COVID is raging.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
She says in 2004 she got the download. And folks, this is going to make you want to watch the film, to hear it in her own words in 2016. And I do an intro and an outro. How did she know what I'm about to tell you? They told her, right? Mm-hmm. The so-called space brothers, the aliens, which in my opinion are utterly demonic. But they told her that there's going to be a global pandemic, some sort of a pandemic, some sort of a virus thing, some sort of a pandemic, and the powers that be are going to make everyone get mandatory vaccines.
Wait, she said this she got the information in 2004, but she said this on video in 2016.
On camera. You got to watch it. It'll blow your mind.
Wow.
I fell out of
Damn.
my chair. I watched it 3 times to make sure, is this what I'm hearing? Is this what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
We have to come to an understanding that if the biblical prophetic narrative is true, in other words, if what's in these pages written thousands of years ago, if it's true, all right? And most people go, oh yeah, the Bible, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever read it? Oh no, but I went to church when I was 7. No, it's not what we're talking about. I've studied this book for 42 years.
Yeah.
And it's like just another layer of the onion. So if we are in the last days, then, and this gets into the whole UFO thing, it gets into Operation Paperclip. See, we're down a rabbit hole. So
Correct.
We'll get to the wrong. It gets into Operation Paperclip. It gets to the cover-up of Roswell. It gets to the German UFO Roswell crash in the 30s in the Black Forest. It gets into all that. And then Paperclip, when they bring them into the country, what did they bring with them really? And what about Peenemünde? Where did they come up with the V2 rocket? Mm-hmm. And I remember that it's apocryphal, but one of the von Braun, how did you guys? We had help from them. The question, well, how did you come up with all this? Oh, we had help from them. The back engineering that Bob Lazar talks about. Mm-hmm. He was criticized by everybody in the UFO community. Guess what? Everybody should eat crow. I always believed Lazar. Always believed him. I interviewed him. Always believed Lazar. And now it's come out, and that's the 4th rung on the disclosure ladder. And I'll get into that in just a minute. So if these entities are real, and they are, our government and the governments of the world know exactly who it is that they're dealing with. And if we are in the last days, then what we should see is the rise of this beast system, which is precisely what we actually see with the whole vaccines and all this other stuff. The vaccines are not the mark of the beast, but they certainly are a preemptor towards it. Why is it that they're rushing everybody into this thing? Right. And we now know that Dr. Fauci, who I fondly call Dr. Fiasco, and his head at NIAID, they deliberately obfuscated the truth from the people. And so, just today here in Los Angeles, where I am, itchy nose here, it's spring, hay fever, and they talking about reinstating the mask mandates. They have to control. It's all about control. So people don't understand that the lockdowns were total nonsense. There was a paper, I think it was out of Harvard, could be wrong in that, but I thought it was out of Harvard, basically stating that 0.01% of people were saved by the lockdowns. How many businesses, how many people,
Correct.
College education, life's work completely destroyed by Dr. Fiasco's goofy lockdowns, and now we know we didn't need them. The protocols in the hospitals are remdesivir, which will kill you. But I digress. So Paul McGuire says 2017, we're going to see disclosure by 2017. It's December. I'm watching Tucker Carlson. Yep. And we'll get into why it happens on Tucker Carlson after I finish all the rungs. So,
all right, LA, we've got about 2 minutes before we go to the break. So if we want to kind of tease this now and bring it in after the break, we can do that.
I love it.
Yeah. I mean, quite honestly, all of this kind of talk about the Nephilim and the Bigfoot and how that's what they can be, and the number of Bigfoot sightings that are increasing. Yep. All of this stuff is just like firing and clicking in my head right now. And I'm thinking of all the stories I read. And so this disclosure, we had Scott Wolter on about 6 months ago, and he was talking about disclosure then. And so I'm completely baffled by it, but I'm completely taken by it too. I want to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. Are we truly going to see something? Rocky and I actually had a conversation with an ex-CIA officer who has a little bit of knowledge about what's going on there. And she said, yes, there will be a disclosure. And this was back whenever they were supposed to release it a year or two ago in June or July.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. And she said, it's not going to be what you're hoping for right now, but it's coming.
That was an emotional moment.
It was an emotional moment.
Because I wanted it all. And it was kind of like, you gave me half of a sucker as a 3-year-old kid. You know? We're reaching and we're reaching and we're reaching.
We are.
And man, I tell you, you go in and there's no turning back. And we talked with the Scott Walters. I used to play semi-pro football with Scott. We were on the same team. And
wow, okay, very cool.
And then we talked to LA and everything we talk about here. This is a whole different level of conversation when it comes to these things. And it touches your soul differently. It's just not just a YouTube video or somebody coming up with something they theorized and it became reality for them. This is, brother, you've been in it for a long time. So there again, the amount of work put in for the documentaries you do, the radio you do, the YouTube, the websites, people don't even have a clue what it takes to put all this together.
No, but I found a new YouTube channel I'm going to go binge
I'm already
watch.
there. I'm watching it while we're talking.
LA, stick with us for just a second. We got to do a break real quick, and we'll be right back with you. LA Marzulli, folks, he's got some information that he's going to pass to us that I cannot wait for.
And he has a last name Marzulli, you know? I mean, don't worry about it, okay? Don't worry about this. Don't go nowhere because Stucci and Marzulli, we come talking to you if you go somewhere. AbnormalRealities.com, kids. We love the hell out of you guys. Don't go nowhere. 2-minute break. Ron Phillips, take us home.
Ya. At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logoed designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and we'd be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Abnormal Realities with Ron and Rocky.
Scientists say ghosts could be signs of a simulated universe. There is a significant chance that we will one day become post-humans who run ancestor simulations.
Say that again, though. So they run a what simulation? An ancestor simulation.
Ancestor simulation.
Okay, so the first thing that came to my head, correct me if my thought process is way off tune here.
Okay.
But are they more referring to doing like past life regressions, and you can connect through a past life regression because that past life is part of the simulation?
Part of the simulation. It's like replaying a program.
So it's not really
potentially
real.
What if everything around you isn't real? Imagine for a second that the planet we live on, the solar system, our galaxy, and eventually the entire universe we see as infinite is no more than a simulation.
Abnormal Realities with Ron and Rocky. Mojo 50.
Wow.
Damn it. I forgot to unmute.
Damn.
You were on it tonight, though.
Damn. Well, I saw you wind up for it. You started way over here.
I looked down on the ground, picked up whatever that sound was, and threw it at them. But they couldn't see me because I was off screen. That's crazy.
Damn it,
Welcome back to
Phillips.
Abnormal Realities, folks. I'm Ron Phillips. That's Rocky Stucci. Our
doing?
guest tonight is L.A. Marzulli. And we are about to go down. I'm sorry. We're about to climb the ladder of disclosure,
Oh,
folks. And
smooth.
you see what I did there?
Damn.
L.A., welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Great to be here, guys. Great
Hey,
to be
brother,
here.
have you ever gone down the simulation conversation?
Oh, yeah, I actually say that in my another rabbit hole. But I say when I'm speaking to any group, whether it's a Christian group or a UFO group or doesn't matter, I'll say this. I'll show pictures of the Milky Way and the different nebulas from the Hubble and all this stuff, and then I'll go, okay, let's walk through it. If America, United States of America, is analogous to the universe as we know it, where's planet Earth? Are we in Duluth, Dallas, New York, Los Angeles, Miami? No one knows. Nobody knows where we are or what this is. Nobody. No one knows. But if this is a digital simulation, it makes perfect sense. Absolutely perfect sense. Because these entities who appear, both the good guys and the bad guys, can manipulate space, time, matter, and energy in ways that defy our reason, in ways that defy our physics as we know them.
Yep.
Right.
So that's why I think the whole thing, and then you get scripture where it says the God of the Bible will roll up the heavens like a scroll. So some people who are not biblical literates will go, well, that's just ridiculous. That's just metaphor. Oh, really? How do you know that? And then I'll challenge the audience, and I'll go, we don't even know where our consciousness resides. You know, they've dissected the brain, and there's no little guy in there going, hi, not there. So, you know, I'm in this three-dimensional biological bodysuit. It works really good for the most part. Over a period of time, it begins to break down like a used car.
Sure.
But, you know, my eyes see. I'm talking right now. My heart's beating. I'm not thinking about it. I'm digesting, you know, some stuff I ate a little while earlier. I'm not thinking about that. My lungs go in and out. My eyes blink automatically. And I'm conversing. I'm not groping for words here. I'm conversing freely as I'm gesticulating because I'm Italian. Right?
How you doing? How you doing? Don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it.
How you doing?
How you doing?
No one knows. Nobody knows where we are. Nobody knows. And I say that to the audience, and like people start nervously
Fidgeting.
moving around in their seats, and they should be, because number one, we don't know where we are in the universe. Nobody does. We don't know how we got here, and we don't know where consciousness resides. So, question mark anyone? You bet.
Damn.
So the disclosure matter.
Damn.
Are you ready?
I'm
Dude,
ready.
hey,
I'm ready because I'm curious as to what Tucker Carlson did.
Yeah, but you
back
think
in
about the
2017.
conscious thing. I mean, that's a whole show.
Oh, absolutely it is.
I never thought about it. You know, people are like, well, you know, the eyes are the path to the soul. Well, where does the eyes go to get to the soul?
There you go.
Oh, boy, I'm triggered.
Nobody knows.
I'm triggered.
Where are you right now? You don't even know where you are.
I'm tripping
And
out
that's my
thinking about that part. I'm
Yep.
like, we don't know where we are. We don't even know what we
don't
are.
know where we are. We integrate this thing. Ever watch we have a brand new granddaughter. She's like 14 months.
Congratulations.
She's just learning to walk. So it's a whole deal. When she walks, hands go up,
Yep.
and she's
Right.
like finding her balance, and you know, she'll walk like maybe 15, 20 steps and then plop down on her butt, and then she applauds herself, and we all applaud her, and it's really great. But when she's doing that, she's really focusing on it because she's never walked before. So she's learning. When I walk, I'm not thinking about it.
Not at all.
You know,
Yeah.
if I have to go from point A to B, I'm not thinking about it. If I'm on a hike, I'm not going, well, how does this work? But she is. She's like thinking about it. Get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we take everything as we mature for granted. This whole biological bodysuit that we find ourselves in. But we have no idea how consciousness interfaces with the suit. Nobody does. Nobody does.
Dude.
It's that question that nobody can answer, dude. I mean, that's the thing, is for the remainder of human existence on this planet, we'll be trying to answer questions that we just don't know how to answer.
But I appreciate the fact of a more of approach that says we don't know,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
than somebody trying to come up with something because they bumped their head on their closet door and it just popped in their head. You know what I mean?
Newton and the apple.
It's like, my goodness. So what tier were we on for the disclosure part?
We haven't started yet. We're about to get to ladder one. I mean, I
No.
want to know. I'm
You're
sorry.
already on the ladders, weren't you?
No,
No,
we've
no.
not done the run
No,
number one.
He talked about rung number one being Tucker Carlson, but I want to know what
yes.
that was. All right, go ahead, LA.
Man.
Okay, so run number one, 2017 in December. Remember, you already know the backstory with
Correct.
Paul McGuire and saying we should have something. So I'm watching Tucker, and Tucker starts off, UFOs used to be thought of as the stuff of tinfoil hat-wearing people and conspiracy theory, but maybe not anymore. Commander David Fravor was a former F-18 pilot, and he had an encounter with an F-18.
He's the one that saw the Tic Tac, right?
Tic-tac-shaped
Yep.
object in the
Yep.
Pacific. All of a sudden, there's Tucker, right? Here's Commander David Fravor in the middle, and over here is what was once at one time a classified footage of a gun sight, right?
Correct.
A camera
Yep.
from the F-18 looking at the tic-tac shaped object. And the bottom line is, after Tucker gets the story and Fravor says, I wanted to fly it, and when it left, it shot away from me like a bullet from a gun. And Tucker asked him, in your opinion, what do you think this was? And Fravor looks right at the camera and says, whatever this was not of this earth, was not from this earth.
Agreed.
And I fell out of my chair.
Yep.
Because
I've seen Fravor on the Joe Rogan Experience show, and Fravor goes into great detail. Yeah.
But here's the deal. When Tucker interviewed him, nobody, and this is in number 3 of our UFO film, nobody who calls up Tucker's producers and go, hey, we got this guy, his name is Commander David Fravor, doesn't have a book, doesn't have a DVD, he's completely unknown, but we want him on your show next Friday. How does that sound? And the producers go, okay, who's got the power to do that?
Right.
And the reason why they run it on Tucker is 2 reasons. One, Tucker's audience is predominantly Christian and conservative.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running, it's like a test. They're firing a shot across the bow. Let's see what happens. Flatline. Nobody did anything. I was jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it. I covered the story the whole 9 years.
That makes 3 of us. We were jumping up and down too. I remember when that story first broke. Yeah.
That was disclosure rung number 1. Rung number 2 on the disclosure ladder is Luis Elizondo on Tucker Carlson declares that the United States government has in its possession wreckage from crashed UFOs. They have metal, and they are testing the metal. Are you kidding me? Rung number 3, Christopher Mellon on Tucker, but by this time, everybody's making all the rounds. It's usually Tucker first, and then all the other, agencies, including 60 Minutes, like a year later, but I digress.
Right.
So, rung number 3 is Christopher Mellon on Tucker. We've tested the metal. We have found isotopes not found on this earth. Rung number 4 is the Pentagon admits that we have in our possession off-world vehicles not made on this earth. And still my phone doesn't ring.
How do people not know this when the Pentagon says it?
It's unbelievable. And this validates Bob Lazar talking about the sports model and the whole 9 yards. I interviewed Lazar in the 90s. So, I go back. And I've tried to interview George Knapp. He just will never come on the record with me for some reason. We spoke at one conference together at Branson, which was a real hoot. I got to, pal around with him a little bit and wanted to get him on the record. But and then I wanted to get Lazar on the record, but this other guy, this other producer, director got to do the film. That's okay. That's, there's plenty of time left and plenty of people to talk to. But the bottom line is the Pentagon saying that validates Lazar's testimony. Rung number 5 on the disclosure ladder is when they released the bogus 9-page report on the validity of UFOs. And out of 143 cases, they only could find one, which was a weather balloon. So the 143 cases, we're not sure what this is, nonsense. You guys know exactly what it is. How can you have off-world vehicles and not know what you're looking at? Please, quit lying to us. Quit lying. We deserve it out of the powers that be. So it's interesting how the goofy UFO report was 9 pages. Meanwhile, a governmental report on bovine flatulence was almost, and its effect on global greenhouse gases, close to 1,000 pages. So we have 9 pages outlining the greatest events that will change everything in human history. You get 9 pages. And then they pretend to tell us, we're not sure what these are. You guys know exactly what they are. You're dealing with them in DUMBs, deep underground military bases. How do I know that? We've had people that we've interviewed who saw them face to face, who were part of it, whistleblowers, off the record people. I've got stories we could take up the rest of the night. But that's number 5. Number 6, which happened a couple of weeks ago, the Freedom of Information Act was released. And in that, and this is my wheelhouse, In that, it talks about women who are being abducted by UFOs and they get pregnant. So,
Correct. Yep.
well, who do they get pregnant by, pray tell?
Oh.
You know, you guys know exactly what's going on, but you won't tell us because you're a bunch of freaking weasels. You're just a bunch of weasels, and you lie. And who is the father of lies? So this is my wheelhouse, because the Genesis 3:15 narrative states this: the seed of the dragon will be at war, at enmity with the seed of the woman. Coming from the seed of the woman, Messiah will crush the dragon's head. The entire biblical narrative that we see in these pages, all of it, okay, is based on a seed war. And unless a person understands that, they'll never come to any idea of what's going on in the entire biblical narrative. Because everything starts in Genesis when Adam and Eve basically decide to side with the dragon. And that's why their DNA is changed. And that's the dragon is there, Adam and Eve are there, and the pre-incarnate Christ. It's called a theophany. Pre-incarnate Christ is in the garden. And he says to the dragon, your seed, your offspring, your seed, the dragon's seed, the dragon's offspring will be at war with the offspring, the seed of the woman. He, the one coming from the woman, will crush your head. That's Messiah. Of course, the pre-incarnate Christ is talking about himself. So it's a real mind screw. It's a real mind blower.
So, L.A., you didn't.
He's the Messiah.
Yes, correct. And I'm sorry to interrupt. You didn't put it on the ladder, but it probably holds a place somewhere. Was it last year, maybe, that NASA hired priests or clergy to ask them how people would react to aliens?
Oh, I remember that.
Do you remember that?
You know, you're right. That could be certainly a rung. It probably, in fact, I forgot about that. Thank you. I'm going to include that.
You just hooked up a rung, bro.
You.
I just remember that because I'm thinking to myself, why would they spend money to hire?
Why are they doing this?
Yeah, if there was nothing there and they, quote, knew nothing was there, why would they spend taxpayer money?
They know exactly what they're doing.
Yep.
Of course.
And they know when they show up, everybody changes.
Yeah.
You thought COVID changed things? When they really show up, and I'll get to that in just a little bit. So rung number 6 is the Pentagon, NASA hiring the priest to try to figure out what they're looking at. They already know what they're looking at. So rung number 7 is the women being impregnated by aliens.
That's crazy.
What happens to the kids? They're re-abducted, the children, alien human hybrid. This screams right back at Genesis 3:15. This is the seed of the dragon, guys. Jesus warns us it'll be like the days of Noah when he returns. What differentiates those days? What makes those days unique is the mingling of the seed between the fallen angels and the women of the earth, creating a hybrid entity known as the Nephilim. Jesus says it'll be like the days of Noah. What differentiates the days of Noah? The Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterward. When the sons of God, the fallen angels, saw the women of earth, went into them, had children by them, this created the Nephilim. Well, guess what? It'll be like the days of Noah when the Son of Man returns. We're here. It's like it. The hybrid program is going on. We know that for a fact. We've interviewed people that have seen them, that have had relationships with them on some level. And, you know, the dragon is building an army.
When you say the hybrids, you're talking about these women that were impregnated by an alien, and then that baby is now the hybrid.
That baby is a modern day Nephilim. That baby is a hybrid.
What do they look like? Do they look like human?
How long have we had hybrids among us, if you will?
Not in the present day. The numbers have risen, and there's a progression. This is conjecture on my part, but it's based on decades of research. Mm-hmm. So in the 90s, we started to see these half human, half alien that looked more alien than they did human. Long, blonde, stringy hair. They look sick. All right. Then later on, the second manifestation is the black-eyed kids. But they're not children, but they're stunted, and they look like children, but they're not children. And anybody who encounters them, they're just incredibly evil, incredible, and they all know that.
Yeah.
There you go. So the new ones now, the ones that we've talked to and people are seeing, most of the time they can pass. They can pass. A woman called me up the other day. So she's in Walmart.
Oh,
And
of
that's
course.
where a lot of this, that's where, if you want to see something, go to Walmart at 2 a.m.
Do it. Absolutely.
Hang out at Walmart at 2 a.m.
I think that'd be scary.
That's a real thing. It is
a real thing. I know.
Let's do it.
So, and Dr. David Jacobs talked about that. You want to see him? Go to Walmart. You'll see the handlers. So she's in Walmart, and this woman walks by who is 10 feet tall. How do I know she's 10 feet? The woman is about 5'2", 5'3". She comes up to the woman's hip.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
The top of her head is even with the woman's hip. The woman is built very proportionally, very feminine. She's not on stilts. She's, large head. I mean, the whole thing. The breasts are what you would see with a 10-foot female.
Wow.
She's wearing these black boots, and people in the aisles are just staring at her like this. UFO brain fog. No one does anything. It always happens.
Is that on video, LA?
No, God, I wish I did. Are you kidding me?
I wish you did.
It's UFO brain fog. When you're in it, you can't think right. You just can't. So after it was over, she's out in the parking lot and she goes, wow, why didn't I take a picture? You didn't take a picture because when you're around the proximity of these entities, you have trouble remembering. Look, I've been around demonized people. Not a lot, but enough to know that when you get close to someone who's a demoniac, it's unless you're prayed up and prepared and know what's happening, you're going to get slammed, man. You're going to have trouble remembering your own name, literally. That they can just walk in and confuse you just like that. Complete and utter, you're just kind of going like, whoa. And I've experienced that. I know what it's like. So when people find themselves on board the ships, or they're in the proximity of grays or reptilians or any of this stuff, it's hard to function on any level at all. And then, of course, these entities can put screen memories in you. So, I wasn't abducted. No, I was over at so-and-so's house. Or the gray looks like, I remember in the movie Taken, this big squirrel.
Right.
And then later on, it's not a squirrel, it's a gray. So,
Can I ask you a question really quick? Do you think like a vivid memory of being on a craft is a form, like, because you said the mind screen where they can just, so if somebody possibly was abducted, and even if you look at the science of like PTSD and different traumatic events and how your brain kind of manifests that at when people sleep or there's certain times that trigger that, could a dream possibly be a remembrance of maybe a possible abduction?
Well, that's the thing. That's why regression hypnosis, regression therapy is, when it's done by the right person, can be incredibly revealing. There are, these entities can put screen memories so you think that everything's okay and everything's not okay. And then sometimes 20, 30 years later, a person starts, the screen memory, for whatever reason, however that works, begins to wear off, and a person starts to go, wait a minute. They have flashes of being on the table, of being probed, of being, mind melds, if you want to call it that. Look, this stuff is, it's not for the faint of heart. But we have to come to grips. When they show up, the entire globe changes like that.
Brother, let me ask you a question. Yeah. When we talk about everything that we all talk about in these conversations, how do you react? Because sometimes I don't get angry or upset, but sometimes I'm just astonished when I look at society in general.
Yeah.
And we talk about all these things that are going on around us, if we're aware of those things going on around us, and we talk about this, everything we're talking about here, but you look at these humans, they're just kind of like robotic every single day, and whatever direction they're told to turn, that's the direction they go. And it's just, the more you think about this and talk about that, and then look at this, everything and nothing seems normal.
No, we are in, I believe, a window of time which is unprecedented in all of history. We are in the last days. We are looking at the coming beast system, which will change everything. the clowns who want to usher into a new world order, and then, well, who's going to be the president?
Right.
And that would be the Antichrist, in my opinion.
That's true. That's the thing that keeps popping into my head is the realization of the Antichrist for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in the days. I really do. I think we're close
Now,
to seeing something.
Do you think people's version of the Antichrist is different? Or is there one, like with people with NDEs, they're all similar, but a little different in the way, right? Because if you ask me what is or who is the Antichrist or what is the form it takes, I wouldn't even know where to start in explaining that. I would think of it more of a movement, of a populace, of a society, of a culture. I don't even know. What would be your...
Yeah, and this is why the Genesis 3:15 narrative is so important to get a grip on, because it's the offspring of the dragon. It's the offspring of the serpent. The Antichrist is the offspring of the dragon, literally. He's called the son of perdition, one of his many names. He is literally the offspring of the dragon. And there's some peculiarities with him. One is he has no desire for women. So you can do with that what you will. No
Sure.
desire for women. And there's some other things that will identify him. The question is, how much does the church see before we're taken out? I don't believe, I may never see him, because some of us believe that we're taken out in the event known as the rapture, because the wrath of God is about to come on the planet. And if people go, well, why is God so wrathful? Let me ask you something. Since Roe v. Wade, there's been 1 billion abortions. 1 billion. And that's an impossible number to even get our head around. So if you went into the North Pole, to Anchorage, to Toronto, to Los Angeles, to New York, down to Houston, to Mexico City, all the way Central America, Lima, Tierra del Fuego, you crisscross the globe, you wouldn't see one person. Not one person. That's 1 billion people. So that's North, Central, and South America. Everybody's not there. No one is there. So if the three of us were in a wonderful magic carpet, a nice one like a Blackbird, the SR-71, and we're flying all over, booking for life, nothing. Nobody at all. From the North Pole to Tierra del Fuego, not one soul. So that's 1 billion people, and that's what we've had since Roe v. Wade.
Man.
And here in Los Angeles, yeah, I mean, it's freaking wacky.
LA, I don't mean to cut you short, and I apologize, sir.
I am
Watching the
bummed out.
clock. Real quick, we got about a minute left. Real quick, talk about your books and your movie again, and tell everybody where they can find them.
Well, folks, just go to my YouTube channel, L.A. Marzulli, and I do 2 shows a day. One is not for YouTube friendly, Politics, Prophecy, and the Supernatural Report, uncensored, only on Rumble, BitChute, and Roku. But On the Trail of the Nephilim is an ongoing series, and we talk about all this and much more. LAMarzulli.net, LAMarzulli.net, onthetrailwithla.com, and there's so much to see and learn.
LA, thank you so much, man. I got all tied up into that last conversation there. I wasn't even watching the clock. LA, stick around for a second, Rocky, and I'll be back with you as soon as the show is over. And thank you again for joining us tonight.
Thank you, brother.
We'd love to have you back in the future.
Hey, folks, listen, if you don't go to L.A. Marzulli's freaking YouTube channel, I'm going to...
LAMarzulli.net, folks. LAMarzulli.net.
Fat Tony come looking for you. I'm on his YouTube channel right now, and there's about 30 shows, man. Thank you,
guys.
LA.
We've had fantastic guests over the last few weeks. We've got a lot more coming over the next few weeks. This is our Friday night.
Yeah.
We thank you for joining us this week. We've got more coming. Be sure to check out abnormalrealities.com. OdysseyRadio.com is where you can find all the new shows that are out there. We've got more coming there as well.
Miracle League Saturday. We'll see you there. Check it out. Love you guys. Abnormalrealities.com. L.A. Marzulli. Get to his YouTube channel. Love you.
Bye, guys.